Observe the traffic and pollution. Where is its solution? I see in my own neighborhood this sight. It's not a matter to be taken light. I see the leaves and trees crying and the burnt fallen leaves lying. I wish that it stopped soon, otherwise we'll have to take a refuge on moon. To know more about the pollution, let's log into this lesson. Good morning, children. I'm very happy to meet you all back in the biology class. Hope you are doing good and staying safe. Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. What is perfection? Doing something beautiful, something correct, and something on time. What Bible tells about perfection? Bible says, be perfect. Therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. So God expects each and every one of us to be perfect in our work. With that perfect note, let us go into today's lesson. Before we learn today's lesson, let's recall what we discussed in the previous class. In the previous class, we have learned about the Lamarck's theory and Neo-Lamarckism, Darwin's theory and Neo-Darwinism. We have discussed about the mutation theory, modern evolution theory. We also learned about the evolution through anthropogenic sources and finally evolution of man. Today we are going to learn a new lesson. Before I reveal the topic, I would like you to look at the pictures. Can you look at the picture of a waste dumped in the sea? Can you look at the tortoise carrying a polythene cover? You also can find a polar bear sitting without any place to survive. And two kids working on the garbage. Finally, you can see a man covering his face and getting suffocated and walking in among the smoke or a smog. Now, this is our current environmental issue. This is a situation of our entire world. Why is it happening? What is the reason behind it? Because it's a result of these activities. What are the activities? You can find the picture again. There, the smoke from the factories, the wastewater releasing in the water bodies, the land is completely filled with waste, dumped with waste, and also the amount of noise around the environment. What are they called? These are called pollution. Now today we are going to learn the topic pollution. So what is pollution? Any undesirable change in the physical, chemical and biological characteristics of environment due to the natural calamities or human activities. How does this pollution cause? The pollution caused through pollutants. The substance which cause pollution are called pollutants. Now, what is the classification of pollution? How can we classify the pollution? The pollution can be classified in three major categories based on the habitat, the place it occurs. Okay, the land pollution, the water pollution, and the air pollution. As I told you earlier, the substance which cause pollution are called pollutants. Let us classify the pollutants now. There are two categories. Number one is non-degradable, the other one is degradable pollutants. What is non-degradable? The pollutant which cannot undergo decomposition by the microorganism and the natural sources. Example, mercury, cadmium, chromium, lead. Degradable pollutants are the pollutant that can be decomposed by microorganisms. Now there are two categories of degradable pollutants, rapidly degradable and slowly degradable. Let's start the first type of pollution, air pollution. So define air pollution. Any alteration or changes in the composition of the Earth's atmosphere by natural or human activities. Any alteration, and many times it's unwanted alteration in the atmosphere which is harmful to the environment. Now this air pollution caused by some of the air pollutants. What are the air pollutants here? Example, nitrous oxide, your sulfur dioxide, some particulate matter, nitrogen oxide and carbon dioxide. Finally, the fly ash, Now these are some of the pollutants caused during the air pollution. Let's look at the sources of air pollution. How does air pollution causes? Now we can classify them into natural, area, stationary and mobile sources. Let's log into one by one. The first one is natural sources. Through lightning, through the wildfire, forest fire, volcano rupture, through this, okay, the waste can emit it like a ash from the volcanoes, a wildfire, and through lightning, the trees can burn. The ashes can fly and cause the air pollution. Second one is called area sources. So where the oil mine or a gas mine, the cities, okay, or even the fertilizers are used in the agricultural field can cause pollution. That is the second type. Thirdly, it's called stationary sources. Where the industry, power plants and sewage treatments are happening, they emit some waste, okay, that is called stationary sources. The fourth one is called mobile sources. Very, very common, okay. The vehicles like aeroplane, car, trucks, buses, and even the two-wheelers, three-wheelers, when they travel, okay, they emit the smoke. The smoke mixed with the atmosphere. What does the smoke consist of? Mainly carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Now, these are some of the sources of air pollution. So, what are the effects of air pollution? What happens when these sources affect the human being, plants, and animal? Let us learn the effects of air pollution one by one. First one, it infects the organism, especially during the respiration. We cannot breathe properly. Okay, it disturbs our respiratory system. Number two, irritation. Where do you get irritated? Mainly the throat, your eyes, your lungs, and also can lead to asthma and emphysema. It is also reduce the body mechanism and decrease the body capacity to fight against the infection because of the smoke. The air pollution, the pollutant also can cause cardiovascular disease like heart attack, cardiac arrhythmia, etc. The carbon dioxide in the pollution, okay, carbon dioxide interfere with oxygen transport and cause what they result in carbon monoxide, which leads to headache, also can lead to coma and finally death. Now these are some of the effects of air pollution. So how could we control this air pollution? What are the measures to control the air pollution? Let's learn one by one now. Some of the measures are growing plants. Okay, when we grow plant, the plants can absorb carbon dioxide, reduce the carbon dioxide amount in the atmosphere. The high performance of biofilters can also in the indoor can also improve the quality of the air. Diesel exhaust in the automobile cuts the particulate. When the automobile has diesel exhaust, they can cut the waste particulate. And even the catalyst converter in the vehicles can reduce the pollution. And even the last one is the trees acts like a lungs of the planet. So by growing more trees, we can preserve the environment. We can also avoid the air pollution. Some of the legal acts, protection acts, also passed on this air pollution. The government also want to keep the country clean without any pollution. So the Air Act, okay, was enacted in the year 1981 and 1987 for prevention and control of abandonment of air pollution in India. Some of the steps involved in this acts are it encourages public transport, promotes Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, keep the city clean, enforcement of strict law for the people to not pollute the atmosphere, maintenance of air standard by proper enforcement on and monitoring of all the vehicles, the companies, the factories, whoever is being caused for the air pollution, there the maintenance should be strict there. Second one is the water pollution. So what is water pollution? When there is a change in the chemical, physical and biological quality of water with harmful effects on the living organism. So when there is a change physically, chemical, biologically, that cause harmfulness to the microorganism and even the plants, animals and human being too. But what's happening due to the water pollution? Water gets completely polluted. So what are the sources which pollute the water? Some of the sources are, the first one is point source. Okay. What is point source? The discharge from specific location. Example, factory waste, factory influence, sewage waste. All these are called point sources. Number 2 is called non-point. The source cannot trace at single site. It can come from any site. Okay. Agricultural chemical. So when a farmer add chemicals in agriculture, pesticide, herbicide, weedicide, everything mixed with the water can come in any direction. Thirdly, leaks and spill. Mainly in the sea. It happens in the sea. Okay. Oil spill, the ship collision of oil show, oil rigs, which leads to the sea or water pollution. So what are the effects of pollution on the ecosystem? What are the effects of pollution? Destruction of ecosystem is a very, very common and serious result of water pollution. The ecosystem is completely disturbed. The pollutant affects the niches, habitats, soil fertility and become inhabitable. The organism cannot survive there. Another one is called disruption of food chain. What is a food chain? The energy, during the food chain, the energy passes from one organism to another organism. Okay. And many food chain form into food web. So here it also disturbs the food chain. In the food web, the pollutants like lead and cadmium, which is lethal, consumed by the microorganism or even the animals at the trophic level, and which leads to biomagnification. Now these are some of the effects of water pollution on ecosystem. Now let's see the effects of water pollution on organism. So it can be lethal. Say when the water is polluted, it can be lethal, danger to the organism survive that by the fishes or small animals or a human being, lethal to aquatic organism. The accidental oil spill from tanker can cause substantial environment damage. The complete environment can damage because of the oil spill. The people there, they can't get a good drinking water. The organism live in that water will die. Okay. The human and other organism get affected by disease. Very common diseases like hepatitis, typhoid, when they consume the contaminated water. It also can cause eutrophication. I'm going to explain about this later. Eutrophication. Algal bloom. What is algal bloom? The growth of algae on the surface of the water. And red tides. All this can happen because of the effects of pollution on the organism. Water pollution. So how can we control this water pollution? Some of the preventive measures are regulate or control the pollutants at the exact point, and wastewater can be pre-treated before it emit outside. Setting up a sewage treatment plant wherever there's a water is clean, you should have a sewage treatment plant, and effluent treatment plant, STP and ETP. Regulate or restrict the use of synthetic fertilizer and pesticide. Yes, farmers should be advised to use a less amount of pesticides and herbicides. Public awareness and people involvement is very, very important to prevent ourselves from the water pollution. Maybe through the media, you can tell people to keep the environment clean, because they also get affected because of the water pollution. And some of the acts also pass by the government to preserve the water resources in our country. So some of the actions taken by the government are right to clean water. It's a fundamental right. And there's an act called Water Act in the year 1974 for disposal of pollutants. Then later, the Ministry of Environment, the Forest and Climate, which promote the planning, which also promote the coordination in the environment and also the forestry policies and programs. By doing all this, they encourage and they insist people to keep the water bodies, the water resources around them clean, so that they can live on this land without any infection. The third one, the final one, is noise pollution. What is noise pollution? The undesirable sound that can disturb and which cause the noise pollution, which irritates us sometimes. Okay, physically and mentally can cause damages. It's called noise pollution, and the noise measured in decibels. So what is the source of noise pollution? How do we get the noise pollution around us? Some of the sources you can find here. Let's start with the loudspeaker. Okay, when there is a function or when there's a celebration, people used to keep the loudspeakers. Okay, that disturb the people around. Also can cause some mental healthness. The vehicles, car, buses, two-wheelers, and even the helicopter, the system we use at home, the musical instruments, okay, and when they do the construction work, that also can cause a huge sound which can disturb the complete environment, human being and the animals too. So what are the effects of noise pollution? What happened when you kept hearing the louder noise for a longer time? Yes, first you get irritated. Apart from that, it also can cause heart diseases. When you kept hearing the loud noise, it leads to heart disease, high blood pressure, stress-related diseases, and hearing loss also can be the final stage. It also increases stress lead tension, nervousness, sometimes depression, and panic attacks on human being. It also causes peptic ulcer, headache, and sometimes memory loss too. This sound also infect or disturb the marine animals. The firecrackers disturb the entire animals and human being. It also frightens the animals, birds, and it also increases the noise traffic, the louder sound traffic in the atmosphere. So how should we control? How can we control this noise pollution? By planting trees, because trees can absorb water. You can while you're building the house, you can cover the entire house with the wood. So wood can absorb more amount of noise. So planting more trees which can absorb the noise, that's one of the steps to prevent and control. Regular service and tuning of automobiles. So if you have any automobiles at home or in the companies, they should regularly undergo checking so that they will not make any noise which can disturb others. Workers to be provided with earplugs. When a person working in the factory which has a louder noise should be given a earplugs that won't disturb or affect him or her. The lubrications of machinery. So lubrication, the oil like substance should be kept applied on the machine so that it won't make much noise. What are the acts by the government, legal act passed on the noise pollution? So the legal acts on noise pollution, some of the acts are the Article 48A and Article 51A. The Constitution of India rules in the year 2000. Only people can use 65 dB, okay, or at the daytime, and 55 dB decibel at night time. We should not use louder than this, or else the government will take strict action against that. Next topic is agrochemicals. What is agrochemical? The chemical we use during the process agriculture. The chemicals used agriculture for the growth of plants and pest control. Overusage of these agrochemicals may cause nutrient imbalance. Okay, so when we use it too much, that leads to nutrient imbalance. That might change the content of the soil, that might change the nature of the water, taste of water, sometimes color of the water, that might change the constant of air, also infect the human health. Biomagnification. I've told you, I'll explain about this. What is biomagnification? Any concentration of toxin, chemical, okay, such as pesticides in tissues of tolerant organisms are successfully higher level in the food chain. What is the meaning of it? You can find a fish here. No? During the food chain, the energy passes from one organism to another organism. While passing the energy, the nutrient, the toxins also pass from one organism to another organism, and it is stored in the higher organism in the highest amount. Okay, the large amount of chemicals stored in the higher organism through the food chain is known as biomagnification. Sometimes it's lethal to the organism. Eutrophication. What is eutrophication? Mainly because of the chemical release in the factories, smoke, through the smoke, and even from the agricultural field, uh, everything mixed in the water. Okay, finally they reach in the water, and it has high amount of chemicals. As it because a high amount of chemical, what happened? The algae started growing very fast, and they cover the entire surface of the water body. This is called algal bloom. You can find it will look like a green color carpet over the water surface. What happened there? Because of the covering of the green color bloom, the organism live inside the water. Maybe a small insects or a snake or a frog or a plant, any plant live inside the water, do not get oxygen. Okay, so because and the sunlight also cannot penetrate inside because the upper layer is covered by the algal bloom is there. So what happened to the organisms, the plants, the animals? Because of the deficiency of oxygen and sunlight, the organism inside the water will die. Okay, that leads to death of the organism. Now this condition is called eutrophication. It's mainly due to the water pollution. Chemical finally reach the water body. Today's part is over. So I would like you to go through the lesson, watch the video carefully. It's a very general topic. Collect more information about the pollution and the pollutants. Once you went through the video, write your test, play Kahoot, and complete your work before 11 p.m. I'm expecting the entire class to complete your portions. That's all from today's class. Have a good day. Stay safe.